Network.
Bernie is in Illinois to drum up support. Illinois at one time was believed to be a lockdown for Hillary Clinton. That firewall seems to have eroded because people have had a chance to hear Bernie Sanders, to see Bernie Sanders, to look at his position. And obviously, Bernie is speaking to the core issues that people across the country are concerned about. Tonight, we're at Chicago State University because the crisis in education, in public education in Illinois, this is the epicenter. This is an institution that educates African Americans, Latinos, and other students, and it is in danger of collapsing because the state has failed to fund education adequately. Bernie Sanders will talk about it. He'll talk about the future of college education and what the government needs to do to ensure that everyone who is able to attend college, wants to attend college or other higher education training can do so. That's why people are responding so enthusiastically to his message.
And how big was it that he won the Latino vote in Nevada?
It was real huge because Nevada was considered to be part of Hillary Clinton's firewall. Latinos were believed to be locked down by the Hillary Clinton camp because of the long name recognition, the generally positive association. When people came to hear and to understand Bernie Sanders' message, they said, this is a candidate speaking to the real issues that I'm concerned about. A living wage, job security, education, health care for all. These are things that the American people believe in, and that's why the message is resonating with people everywhere, including Illinois. Illinois is up for grabs. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Morning, everybody. That was Chuy Garcia in Chicago. It was last night with Scott Galindez, reader-supported news. And I'm just checking everything over here. Things bouncing around. We've got Scott with us in the background. We've got Janine with us today. And thank you, everybody, for being here. It's February 26th, and there's an awful lot going on in the news. Let me just check and make sure things are good with audio. How are we doing today? J Vintage 1970, not for sale, Bernie 2016. Hurry for Bernie, Jake Wimberly, Hannah, how you doing? Brenda Brown, Teddy, all sorts of people in here. Tor, M. Blake, Porter. Hi, Sean. Thank you for being in there. Hi, Bad Wolf, Robert Jordan. Wow, lots of people today. More than 100 of you already, is from what I can see. No, okay, maybe 80. We'll find out. I'm always trying to guess up higher than the number I actually see because I know it's not the right number.
One thing interesting.
Yeah, morning, Scott.
Good morning. With the Chuy Garcia interview, I've interviewed him other places, but this day, as soon as he came out into the public view, everybody started chanting Chuy, Chuy, Chuy. I think if the election were held today, that he would beat Rahm Emanuel.
Well, yeah, I don't doubt it either. I bet. How many people were there? Do you have an idea? Yeah, it seemed packed.
They said 6,500 is what the Briggs press release said after the rally.
Wow.
It was packed as a Raptors, but it wasn't as big as a arena type. The floor wasn't as big. So
interesting. Yeah, it was an amazing. Who was the speaker before him? Was it before him? Or was it Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr.?
I never knew that. I knew about Jesse Jackson Jr., but I never. The first time I ever saw John Jackson, Jesse Jackson's son.
Okay, thank you. That's who that was, John Jackson. I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Who is this guy? Okay. So yeah, he was powerful. He had some good words to say. I like his testimony.
Thinking, why hasn't he run for anything? Yes. He said that he tries to avoid introducing politicians, so maybe he doesn't like the limelight that much.
Maybe so. You're I don't know what's going on with your camera. I'm trying to figure it out right now. It's flopping back and forth. I don't know why. I'm going to swap cameras around real quick on you and see if that fixes it. That might be it. Hangouts today are working funky. Everybody look at Scott this morning. We just don't want to look at Scott. Hang on one second, folks, to get this fixed.
The eyeglasses thing isn't up that yet.
Do you think you know your husband really well?
We'll go with this. Over here. Just had to talk to people around, everybody.
You will be
lots of stuff to talk about. So Chicago was amazing. I don't know how many of you saw it, but before that, there were so many things. There were so many events that happened yesterday. There was one we were supposed to get that we didn't get, then another one came through that we already were thinking of. The Flint, Michigan Forum was
thing for the women's movement, same thing for the gay movement.
Just,
no one gives you freedom.
It was
no one gives you
testimony
dignity.
from the people.
You have to fight for dignity. And that is where we are today as a nation. There are some people out there behind Trump and others
that
who want to divide us up. They think they can get votes by making bigoted and racist remarks about
Tell me
Latinos
what's really wrong.
or telling us that we're supposed to hate Muslims.
What would you like to be done to fix
Among other things, yes. All right, but my view is that we will stand or fall as a nation, depending on whether we stand together. Black and white and Native American and Latino. Women and gay, we're all in this together. And when we stand together,
another talking head go on and on and on.
and when we have the courage to take
I have
on
no idea why Governor Snyder is allowed to continue to do his
powerful
resignation.
special interests, whether it is Wall Street, whether it's the fossil fuel industry, whether it is the pharmaceutical
I don't
industry,
know how many of you
people who
remember
are only
politicians
concerned
discovering social
about
media
their own
over the last
short-term profits.
We've had
and
many
care
of them
less
who
about
had
the
to quit
American
their jobs simply because
If we come together
or
and make what I call a political
they're having an
revolution, bring
affair or
millions of
coming out of the
people
closet.
into the political process.
Politicians
My
lose their
friends,
jobs.
there is nothing
Their careers are
that we
ruined
cannot
because of
accomplish.
and their
That's what this
sexual
campaign
choices.
is about.
Murder children, when they put lead in water, when they burn people's skin.
On Tuesday, here in Minnesota, we've got a very, very important
Bernie's done
election.
it, but it's not working.
I urge you to
I
come
don't know
out
why
to the
the federal
caucuses.
government hasn't gone in
I
and just
urge you
hauled
to
this man
participate,
out
to bring
on
your
his
friends
ass,
and your neighbors.
thrown him in
If we can
handcuffs,
win
and put
here
him
in
in
Minnesota,
jail.
we've got
Where
a
he
real
belongs.
path
I
to
don't
victory for the
understand this.
Democratic
He's a white man
nomination.
in a suit and tie.
Thank you all very much.
Another thing. Anyway. The forum last night, yesterday, was amazing. Watch it. Listen to what these people have to say. They send these people filters, but the filters get ruined when they run through hot water. Some of the things I heard, I could not believe. It blew my mind what was going on. So anyway, that was an amazing day yesterday with that. Very powerful speeches. And Bernie, did we get Scott back in? Okay, Scott's back in, sort of. Where's Scott back? I want him to, there you are, Scott. I want you to tell everybody, there's been several people who have asked, and hang on, I'm going to fix your view here. I'm going to put you in the wrong view. Nope, you're over here. There you are. Couple things actually. First, I don't know if we have anybody in comment mod, Janine. I'm not seeing any comments scroll through. For those of you who are dropping comments or chatting, good morning. I don't think we have anybody working the dock, so I won't be showing you anything in the lower third. So sorry for that, folks. But Scott, I've seen several comments. Several people ask in Twitter and in YouTube, do you think Bernie's message You've been following them along, but last night, yesterday, I think in general, the last couple, and you made this statement to me. You were like not so sure, but you got a chance last night. Do you think he's gotten more powerful? Do you think he's using more revolutionary words?
That has so much power over our economy and our
I'm not so sure, but I did notice that he did a lot more to express the differences between him and Hillary. He had one section where he went through the differences. That was new to me. I missed the last couple that you saw on those things, but yeah, I get it. He's sharpened his message.
Well, I mean, to me, it sounds like more revolutionary fighting words, less I'm going to be cautious because I'm not really sure how these are going to get taken, right? He's starting to use words like ripped off. We're getting ripped off by pharmaceutical companies. That's something I didn't hear him say at the very beginning. He did drop a list of those 18 CEOs that he said we were, but now he's really calling out, calling out Goldman Sachs on $5 billion fine, right? He keeps calling out the Wall Street guys. And the thing he said the other day that I thought was really telling was that, and I hadn't heard him say this before, maybe I'm missing it, maybe you've heard it too, where he said, where's your passion? What is your passion for this country? Are you willing to fight? And I've never heard him say that, indicating that this is a fight. This is just an election. You're not just going to vote. Are you willing to fight to change this country? Have you heard that message? To me, that message is what's been escalated.
Definitely do. I think one of the things that's going on is the campaign is getting a lot of people talking about the turnout. They're saying there's no indication your revolution is really there. Voters turn out down in the Democratic
whether we can
races.
mobilize our people to take back our government
they're wrong. They're just
from a
comparing it
handful
to
of billionaires
2008, which was
and create the vibrant democracy
double what
we know we can
been done
and should
before
have.
in any primary or caucus.
Right.
So if you compare it to 2004, 2000, then turnout's up. And it's just that comparing it to 2008 is definitely a disservice.
Well, because 2008 was really the first big change in terms of, I mean, Obama was a massive change. Obama occupied, those were warm-ups, right? And this is different. This one is a slower build because we have to involve the whole nation, and we are, right? As he moves on, as more people see him, he gains, right? And we know that. We know that. They're just out of curiosity. They're saying Sanders is likely to lose by 20 points in South Carolina. I don't think it's going to be 20 points. I think it's going to be a lot closer to that. I think they're going to be really shocked. What do you think?
Probably not, but I guess I'll start on my argument.
Yeah.
I think the South is a place where Hillary's going to be strong.
Okay.
But I think that's her firewall, and it ends there. It doesn't go north, and it doesn't go west. And if you look at recent polls, even since my article, there's polls that he's up in Wisconsin, up in Ohio, and if he wins Ohio, Wisconsin, and could definitely win New York, Hillary will claim it's her home state, but she's transplanted into New York, and Bernie still sounds like he's from Brooklyn, so advantage in New York. And what it really comes down to, I think, delegate-wise, it's going to be close going into June 7th, and that'll be a big day when California and some smaller, California and New Jersey are on June 7th.
Right. That's interesting you say that because I was reading that in another article basically stating that Bernie could and probably will be behind until June 7th, right? Because California really is a late state, and we're expecting a big turnout in California for Bernie Sanders. That, you know, and what you said about South Carolina also has been, I concur with you there, not because I know anything about it, but because basically what you're saying, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bernie can lose the southern states and still win.
Right.
So, yeah.
Especially like the Northeast, for example, they don't follow the South. They're definitely have pride in being more progressive than the South. There were some terms I was going to use, but I won't use.
Right.
In the South, and then you look polling ahead in Ohio and in Wisconsin. If he dominates the Midwest, he could be ahead going into California.
Right. Exactly. And I think what we're seeing here, Scott, and I just pulled up the bottom piece of your article because you have some numbers listed here, some different numbers listed because.
It's just how many delegates the states have.
Okay. But, I mean, we know what's going on. The numbers they're reporting on establishment media are a partial truth. They're not really reporting on the full truth of what's happening in terms of delegates. As we've said, most likely Bernie will be behind in delegates until June. And he can lose all of the southern states and still win this race. And the Midwest, and here's I think this is the key. And this kind of goes into where we're going to go with talking about media and our group. But as long as we continue to get Bernie airtime on establishment media, we continue to wake that 24% of Americans, I'm going to guess a lot of them are in the Midwest, who aren't watching the internet, who aren't paying attention to the internet. And to me, that's really the key to getting Bernie Sanders to win, is converting all these people, and we see it all the time. I see it all the time in a very small amount here with Bernie 2016 TV. I get tons of comments. You have no idea how many comments come through the YouTube channel and through the email folks, but which is why I don't answer but a fraction of them, really. People say for all over, I wasn't going to vote for Bernie Sanders till I saw this. I didn't know who Bernie Sanders was till I saw this. I had no idea what he really stood for till I saw this. Mainstream media said this, but then I saw this. Right?
And it's not out of the question that Super Tuesday, it could be 6 states for Hillary, 5 states for Bernie.
Right, right. I mean, if we go based on some of the other stuff we've read, there are indications that Bernie is actually going to have an advantage in Super Tuesday because he's dealing with a lot of white liberal states.
And 5,
but 5, is that what it is? 5 at least.
There are 6 that are pretty diverse. The first time that they had a Southern Super Tuesday, the goal was to get a Southern candidate, and Al Gore was actually in the race. He was the young upstart, and they wanted him, but it got ruined because Jesse Jackson ended up with more votes than anybody else on Super Tuesday, which opened the door. Dukakis ended up winning that year, and so the DLC, the Democratic Leadership Company, which Hillary and Bill were very involved in, had to wait. They didn't get their Southern candidate, and it was because of the African American vote in the South. And that's, as long as she continues to do well among the older, more mainstream, always voting African American vote, then she's going to do well in the South. But they're not going to be the majority everywhere. And in a lot of southern states, they're the majority of the Democratic vote because the whites are in the Republican Party.
Agreed. Well, and and I'm just gonna jump in on a quick segue on that. We've seen in some of the polls, and I don't know if you've if all of the polls mirror this, but there was one yesterday I was looking at, and out of Republican supporters, Bernie, and I actually grabbed a quote yesterday. It seems to me that a lot of Republican supporters, be they Trump, Rubio, or whatever, definitely are more find Bernie the better candidate than Hillary for numerous reasons. One, because they think they have a better chance against Bernie Sanders. They don't want to go against Hillary quickly. But also, there was a quote last night. We were broadcasting an event, and one guy said, "I'm a Trumper, but you can tell Bernie actually cares, and Hillary doesn't." That was from a Trump guy, right?
Well, there was, down to the end in New Hampshire, there were people torn between Trump and Bernie. There's
right. Just real quick, it was. I'm going to cut into some administrative things. Janine, I'm looking at the Friday tab in the newsroom moderation document. I see people talking about it, but I don't see any stuff on the tab. That's all. And so I don't know if anybody's doing anything there. And what was that? No, I forgot the second thing. Anyway, that was it. I just wanted to talk about the newsroom tab. I think, 120 plus people right now. I always love saying that and finding out what the real number is. That's what I want to say. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're talking about Chicago. We're talking about Bernie Sanders' chances to win. We're talking with Scott Galinda's here with Reader-Supported News, who was there last night in Chicago, and we're looking at his article, bouncing it back and forth here. We're looking at his article where he's talking about Hillary Clinton's firewall does not go west or north. And that's where we're at. Anything more you want to add about that, Scott, about Bernie Sanders and what we need to do to help him right now?
Just pretty much after Super Tuesday, Hillary will rack up some delegates in Texas and Georgia and other places, and the mainstream media will say that the path is narrowed. But especially if he wins Massachusetts, Colorado, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and Vermont, then I think you'll still be in great shape.
Good. I'm so glad you said that, and the key point to take away here, folks, is that Bernie's going to win a lot of stuff on Super Tuesday. He's not going to win South Carolina. Maybe he'll come close. Who knows? Maybe he'll win. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to jinx it. Maybe he'll win. But we got to not listen to establishment media. Yeah. There are so many reasons we need to ignore them, and we need to push the truth. We need to push our message of the truth. The truth is getting blocked everywhere by everybody, and we're gonna go into talking about. We're gonna play a little. Nina Turner did a shout out to BTV, thanks to John Spalding, who was there in Cleveland, Ohio, trying to capture that, and he got a quote from Nina Turner. We're going to talk about what BTV is doing really quick. We're going to talk about the fan funding and the expansion into the Global Engagement Network and what we're trying to do and why now, more than ever, it's important when you've got the executive at Twitter scrubbing the net of the hashtag #WhичHillary because he's got a fundraiser happening this Sunday for Hillary Clinton. He's a big Hillary fanboy. So we got to make sure we scrub the net. There was over 460,000 impressions, tweets on that hashtag. We exploded on the web yesterday. We were killing it, and he censored you. Censored you. I want you to understand that that the web today is the same as newspapers were. So what the guy on Twitter did, the executive of Twitter, the editor of the newspaper that is Twitter, said, I want every article about #WhичHillary removed from my paper now. And he pulled it. He censored you. I want you to understand that. Because it's not going to be the last time, and it's happened before with other hashtags. And YouTube does it all the time with DMCA bullshit takedowns. We are being censored by a fascist government. We are being censored, folks. No different than when they burn books. No different than when a Nazi government would come into a library and rip out books and burn them. Our government, our corporations are acting like Nazis, burning our information, censoring our truth. because they control the propaganda machines we use. They control the medium. This is a war, folks. And networks like Bernie 2016 TV, the Young Turks, Democracy Now!, there are many others. Networks like that, we are the last bastion of truth in this world. We are fighting a giant monster owned by 6 people. 6 corporations own the information on this planet. And they can wipe any of it they choose, anytime. We have to grow. We have to fight them. We have to band together as independent networks, or we are not going to be able to take back our nation and our planet, because they are controlling the information. Let's listen to Nina Turner give a shout out in Cleveland to Bernie 2016 TV. Listen to what she has to say about it, and then we're going to just talk a little bit about what we're doing with politicalrevolution.tv. Here you go.
John Spalding, Bernie 2016 TV. We have Nina Turner from Cleveland. She did the introduction for Mr. Sanders today. And how are you doing today, Nina?
I am doing wonderful. Hello, Bernie 2016 TV. Love you. Glad for having me out there. If you understand it, out there was all, but that's what we did. Today, we have over 5,000 people on the ground in Baltimore, in Berea, Ohio. We all come in Ohio, Queen State of Queen State. We're the free You're the bomb. Thank you, John. All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Nina. That helps. I'll be honest, folks. This morning, I was pretty down. I'm pretty down about some things that are going on, about not being able to coordinate stuff, about not being able to deliver streams. And hearing those words from Nina really helps. It's good to know that she knows what we're doing out here, and she appreciates the effort. And I know you guys do. But let me just talk about what the whole point of this was. And in the description, there's a link to a document, a Google document about the Global Engagement Network. And the original idea for this, folks, was to use engagement broadcasting, which is what we do when we're actually running lower thirds. Which, hey, look, we've got some showing up. Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks for doing comments. When we do this, when we do the lower thirds like this, folks, and when we engage with you in comments in real time, and when we answer your questions in real time, that's called engagement broadcasting, and I invented it. It's not like a brag or anything. I'm just saying I created it several years ago. And I've been trying to get businesses to do something with it for years. And I've done stuff for the School of Rock and many nonprofit organizations and Social Media Today, and I've created other series before I did anything with this, with Bernie 20, before Bernie existed in my radar, before Bernie was in my life, in our lives. This was what I was doing. I was trying to work with businesses to create the next level of broadcasting, engagement broadcasting, where we have a conversation together, right? And I had support from the SEO community, because in terms of SEO, it's a no-brainer, right? In terms of what it does, everything's about engagement. I'm just going to show you the original. This was the original card that I had created for it. But the idea is that you start with the internal communication, the roots of an organization, whatever that may be. You bring those people onto the internet. You do PR before whatever event. You have your live engagement broadcast, which is what we do with the Bernie Rally or one of our shows. You're resharing that event, and that's what we do when we take, like, We the People, and we chop it up into small chunks, and we post it out as a playlist so that you can watch individual segments. And then engaging around that all over on the web. That's what we do. That's what this process was designed for, and the volunteers that came into Bernie 2016 TV put this process to work as a volunteer group for Bernie Sanders. And that's why we were able to do what we did so well and so effectively. It's one of the reasons our channels get shut down by YouTube, is because we managed to do this so effectively. But what I really wanted to talk about was the long term. And the long term, this is an older model because it's changed a number of times, but the basic idea still sits. And the idea was to create the Global Engagement Network, right? And that would be, at the time, we were thinking, and may still be, I don't know, a YouTube channel, an MCN, working just like other MCNs do, except I wanted it to be a nonprofit. And underneath that, we would have the Channel for Humanity, Engage the Music, and PoliticalRevolution.tv. Right? You can see the Real Newsroom is broken off into its own channel. But right now, we don't really have the capability and the resources to do all of that. So what we're going to do, and what we've done now, is broken off to a channel called PoliticalRevolution.tv. And the Newsroom will eventually move there. And we'll move other shows there. We the People will stay on Bernie 2016 TV, and Bernie 2016 TV will continue to broadcast Bernie rallies. But our other shows will move over to PoliticalRevolution.tv so that we can better work with other organizations without having the concern of them being on Bernie 2016 TV, which we've heard from a lot of organizations. That's a bit of a problem, right? Because they don't want to limit themselves to that, and that's the name of the channel. Not a problem. So just know that it's all connected together. It's the same group of volunteers, the same people here. But the goal is to create new programs like Disability TV, and we had Native Life, and I'd like to start that back up again. And I'd like to do a new show with Dr. Franz Whitfield and maybe Tim Black and some other people on African American matters. And you know the offer I've made to everybody and anybody about this, and we'd like to get more of the politicians that we've had on We the People come back and do regular series for their own states, their own areas. That's the whole idea here, is to create a series of programs for you, for us, about things that we need to know about issues that we need to discuss. Working with Ezra Silk about creating a regular climate series so we can talk about the disasters that are ongoing, what the establishment media ignores. So that's the long-term goal. And the reason I'm telling you all of this, is because we have to make a shift now. We have to shift our information from old, traditional, closed networks, which are filtering our content heinously, to the internet. But we need to think beyond that, and that's why I make a call to Anonymous, a call to Occupy, a call to coders, to hackers. We need to move beyond that, because even our information, like we've seen on Twitter, can be censored instantly, because we do not control that medium. And if the TPP passes, we won't control the internet either. And books will be burned, articles will be trashed, movements of the people that are expressed through social media will be squashed by an executive's decision. We need to fight that. We need to subvert it. We need to find a new way around it. We need to be able to broadcast our message of freedom regardless of, despite the establishment media, despite the owners of the net. So I'm just throwing that out there, that we need to be prepared for that battle. And I think Bernie's words echo that call. I think Bernie's words about what are you passionate about, what drives your passion for this country, and are you willing to fight for it? Because we're going to have to. I'm looking at your comments, folks. Sorry to be a bummer. Scott, you have anything to say on that in terms of censorship? Have you seen anything going down at these rallies? Or, I don't know. It's just got me pissed off.
Well, I'm not so sure about seeing censorship, but I see in the mainstream media them just dismissing Bernie and still the spin that Hillary has her firewall and the momentum and the likely nominee, they still say it. And
right, they're going to keep spreading that. They're going to keep spreading that misinformation because the people tapped into the pipeline are going to believe it. They're just going to believe it. That's
and I got to watch the Chris Matthews thing.
How was that? I saw a lot of shit about it, that he was terrible, but it was to be expected.
Yeah, he just kept pushing on well, how you going to get Congress to pass this stuff, and just to, The answer, how is Hillary going to get Congress to pass anything that she's proposing? It's
right.
Every Democrat has the same problem.
What did they say to Obama? They asked Obama, said, how are you going to get Congress to pass this? You know what he said? I don't know, we're not. We're going to sit here for 8 years and not do shit. Basically what happened with him. We're not going to pass anything, Chris Matthews. So here, I think that's a great point to make. The bottom line is we're changing our government, Chris. We're going to kick out politicians. This is a revolution, dude. I'm not too worried about it. I mean,
whatever her name is on MSNBC, she was like, well, Obama had that revolution. That's what OFA was supposed to do, was to push. What the problem with OFA was they turned it over to the DNC, and it was not a grassroots organization anymore. It was the DNC asking people to make phone calls. That's what OFA became. They weren't organizing marches or anything like that. It was the grassroots was out of it, and that's the reason the Obama revolution movement just ended after the election, because they turned the organization over to the DNC.
Exactly. Anybody who thinks, look, we've been bamboozled, folks. Anybody who thinks what Obama did was bring us hope and change has to realize Obama was working with the establishment. Obama is the establishment. He brought us a little hope, a little change, a little, we're going to be happy with this guy, some great talk. And he did try to bring us affordable health care, and we did pass some convoluted, bullshit, watered-down version of the Affordable Health Care Act. Yay! It's no different than the tiny, tiny, tiny incremental changes that every establishment politician has delivered over the years. Just wait. We'll get it a little better. Don't be unrealistic. We can only move it this far. Bullshit. This is our government, our money, our choices. The only thing stopping us from making these moves, the big ones, the big giant moves we want to make, are stuffy rich folk in Congress. That's it.
And then you hear people say that, well, Obama had 60 votes. Why didn't he get all this done and that done? And he never had 60 votes. He had Joe Lieberman. He had Mary Landrieu. He had all these Republican wannabes.
Right. We've been lied to, folks. The problem is we have to wake up the whole country in order to affect change, and we're working on it. It's going to take a while. We hit D-Day with the beginning of the primaries. That was it. That was the beach landing, okay? That was it. We hit 5 beaches, we landed, and now we are moving on the ground. And it's tough, and it sucks. And everywhere we go, we're hearing that we're losing, and we're not doing so well, and we're getting all the misinformation. And this happens during war. We are at war. This is what happens. The enemy, the establishment, will push out propaganda to try to discourage the troops on our side, to try to discourage us from continuing forward. But we must not stop. If you want a planet to live on in the next 20, 30 years, and that was something that caught me last night, Scott, and that was why I asked who was it? Jesse Jackson Jr.'s son, John Jackson? Is that who you said it was? Okay, John Jackson made a statement that I thought was very, very, beautiful. He said, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't John Jackson. It was Tim Canova. Too many events, really, too many events today. Tim Canova yesterday, folks, was before the evening broadcast that we had in Chicago, and he made a brilliant statement. It was nice to finally hear a politician make these statements publicly. He said, I'm from the state of Florida, sea level, Florida, okay? It's like we're looking at the next 20 years, a whole bunch of our coastline, 20 years. Tim will be alive. Tim's kids will be alive. Any investment Tim's made in real estate will be alive. Any investments anybody else has made in real estate, 20 years, folks, is not a lot of time. Tim's like, yeah, a good portion of all that coastline is going to be underwater in 20 years. It's already screwing up our state. We've already got massive problems. The next 10, 20 years, we're looking at huge swaths of real estate, huge amounts of city being underwater. In 20 years. 20 years. With what we know about how climate moves and how we affect it, we know that it's going to take effort now, right now, to stop that. And we're doing nothing. Nothing. It's not only are we doing nothing, folks like Ted Cruz, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, Ted Cruz just blocked the bill that would have gone to start helping Flint. Useless, worthless piece of shit that he is, wish somebody would load a bullet. And that is my personal opinion. I'm not advocating violence, just saying. Not sure why Ted Cruz exists, but he alone blocked this bill that would have gone to start helping Flint, or at least gotten federal movement, somebody get off their ass and start looking at it. It's unbelievable.
Ted Cruz. What do people see in Ted Cruz? He just sounds like he's whining all the time. Everything he says, it sounds like he's whining. Well, I've never understood how anybody can support him.
I don't either. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Robert Jordan, we turn on a dime and put a man on the moon. Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at some of the comments right now. No one in the MSM talks to financial ties to Hillary Clinton that are literally all failures. Yeah. Sorry, Brenda. People that live in America are stupid. They don't even bother to vote. We are all doomed. Brenda, are you an American? Or are you an unfortunate citizen of another nation who's looking at America and going, what the fuck? I agree. I am sad. But you got to understand that the majority of Americans are victims of their own system. They're victims of the education they didn't receive. They're victims of the information they weren't given. Right? Even the journalists that are functioning as journalists have been raised in that indoctrination. So, for all we know, half of them just believe the bullshit. And they're not able to rise above it. It's an amazing situation that we're in. We have been educated poorly. We have generations of indoctrinated human beings that don't recognize that they're going to vote for their own oppression if they vote for an establishment politician. And it's just, that is why I keep saying, folks, that we will do everything we need to do to get Bernie Sanders elected and beyond. We need to replace Congress. So, Chris Matthews, when you ask, how are we going to get Congress to do that? We're going to kick out the people that don't do what we want, because that's how a democracy works, Chris. It doesn't work by greasing everybody's wheels and fucking and sucking and handing people cash. That's how the establishment system works. But the democracy we're supposed to have is supposed to be for the people, of the people, by the people, and we don't have that. We don't have that anymore. I want to cut to a different article before I get too pissed. This is, I just want to talk about the case for raising a minimum wage, because it really pissed me off the other day that the, what is it, SIEU or SEIU, I don't know their exact thing. They were basically lying. The union guy there, or whatever, made flyers saying Hillary Clinton supports the fight for 15. And I Scott, did we ever clear up? Is like the fight for 15 tied directly with SEIU or whoever they are?
No, I think SEIU is a part of it, but I've always thought the fight for 15 is a lot more radical than the SEIU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And so this whole thing, folks, they're misinforming. Well, the only reason I brought it, the case for minimum wage, we're going to talk about that in a second, but the SEIU basically printed flyers that said that Hillary Clinton was for fight for 15. And she's not. She's made it very clear that she approves a $12 an hour wage, because Wall Street can't see it in their generosity to understand why 15 is what we're asking for, but in reality, 22 is what people should be making had we kept pace with inflation, had we kept pace with cost of living. We'd be making about $22 minimum wage. So when we ask for 15, you just need to shut up. A CEO today makes 300 times what the bottom worker does. In 1970, they used to make 10 times. We went from 10 to 300. So when we talk about why we can't do a $15 an hour minimum wage, I look at the CEO and I say, it can come right out of your fat ass. Okay? That's when people say, why don't we have the money? Where's the money going to come from? It comes right out of CEOs' fat asses. Because you have manipulated our government to work solely in your favor. So a $15 an hour minimum wage is actually too low. And we're going to look at that with this article by Bill Ellis. Some interesting points brought up here about what it really takes to survive in the United States of America. And I'm just going to read a few statements. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25. Colorado's is about $1 more at $8.31. Okay? And that's too lofty for fast food workers, people say. Too lofty, all right? So, if the cost of living, how much is a living wage? So this MIT professor that the Bill is quoting here basically went through and did the calculation, all right? For one adult with no children, a living wage in our country is $25,000 before taxes. All right. If you look at the Colorado minimum wage, folks, and this is what Bill's saying here, the Colorado minimum wage leaves short about $3.95 an hour, based on what the $15 an hour minimum wage would do. If you add, what we're looking at here is if you add all of the actual expenses, because $15 an hour is what one person can survive. They can't even really survive on that, but that's one person. You add a child to that equation, and you're screwed. You add a child to that equation, and it doesn't even work. So I want you to go to that article, read it, look at the math. Look at the math. One child, the MIT calculator comes with $52,000. That's what you need. You need $52,000, according to this MIT calculator, to raise a child and yourself today in the United States of America. $52,000. $15 an hour gives you about, $31. $15 an hour gives the single human being about a $31,000 a year salary. That is not enough to raise a child on. Somebody suggested yesterday that Congress be put on minimum wage, and I think it was Tim that said, "I don't understand how Congress can think they even get it when they're getting a salary of $150K, $144,000 a year. Not to mention they're in the establishment machine, so they're all making money on the back end. They're all making money. They don't even need their salary. I think they need a $15 an hour minimum wage. And let's see what they can accomplish with that. Let's see how they live. They wouldn't be able to live. Trust me. I know. I know. I just wanted to cover that because I hear a lot of people talking about the value of that for now and the job. And so I want to finalize it by saying this. $15 an hour is the minimum for the easiest job there is. I don't know what that is. I'm just defining it as the easiest, simplest. Anybody can do it. The first job you could ever possibly get anywhere is a person applying for a job that doesn't require any skills at all. The most minimum skilled job at all today should be $15 an hour. Everything else above that should be a higher wage. So if you're a fast food worker, you should be making more than $15 an hour. Right? That's really what we mean when we define that today. We need to redefine wages and redefine work based on a person's value, not what the corporate asshole assigns to the value. All right, done ragging on that. A lot of good comments today. Thank you for being here, guys. I want to run. We're gonna go into Hillary bashing because it's time. And we're gonna play a clip by Tim Black. And this is Tim Black talking about the Black Lives Matter activists that confronted Hillary Clinton and Hillary's disrespectful response, the super predator comments. I don't know how much more has to come out about Hillary Clinton. I don't know how much more voters for Hillary have to see before they recognize that they're voting for a person who just doesn't give a shit. I don't know what needs to happen there to make that happen. What are you guys saying? Talk about the minority vote. We actually have a clip we can run about that. I'll see if I can find it. But let's let Tim Black see what he has to say about the minority vote. Yes, it's time for Hillary bashing. Monetary value is not human value. Exactly. Monetary. It is as my favorite new tune says. It is the end of the corporate age. We're moving into the age of the people. It is our time. Time to take back this rock, make it better, and remove money as the primary source of existence. Money has become all, and that's we need to remove that. People are all. We are what matter. Together, we are what matter. Without us, money is irrelevant. You don't have a rock to use it on, kind of irrelevant. There's Tim Black about Hillary Clinton, and if you're black and you're voting for Hillary, if you're any color and voting for Hillary, if you're a human being and you're voting for Hillary, you're voting for your own oppression. Doesn't make any sense.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's your man Tim Black. Man, I gotta talk to you real quick, South Carolina. You are not gonna believe what happened. Hillary Clinton was giving a speech tonight in South Carolina. She was talking about, the shooting at the AME church. She was talking about, how much she loved black people. And in came some Black Lives Matter activists. A woman by the name of Ashley Williams and a friend. They paid $500 to get into the event. And they asked Hillary Clinton some questions. Oh, they asked her some good questions. Questions I want to know the answers to. They asked her, why back in the 90s did Hillary Clinton say that young black males were super predators? They asked her, why did she back in the 90s say that young black men need to be brought to heel? Heel, boy, heel. They wanted to know what Hillary meant when she said that. And why hadn't she apologized for saying it? Of course, she didn't apologize for saying it. She said, well, I don't know. I got to think about it. I've never been asked why I called black men dogs. I never thought about why I called little African-American men, little youth, black teenagers, beasts. Never thought about why I called them predators. Slips my mind. You know what should slip your mind, South Carolina? It should slip your mind to vote for her. That's what should slip your mind. Because, see, I don't find any excuse worthy for something like that. It's been burning me up for a month or two. Look it up. You can see it online. This is what she said. Do you realize the damage that crime bill caused people? In that bill, there was 3 strike law. That sent people away for life. Life. That ain't it. 1996, her and Bill Clinton got together and passed the Welfare Reform Act. You know what that did? Yeah, it helped black people, right? Wrong. It didn't help no black people. You know what it did? It pushed black people and poor white people and poor Latino people further into poverty. Marion White Elderman of the Children's Defense Fund says Hillary goes around talking all the time about all the work she did at the Children's Defense Fund. But she leaves out the fact that when she became First Lady, when she passed that act with Bill Clinton, her husband, they hurt a lot of children. Over 1 million of them, to be exact. No one talks about that. No one asks her the tough questions. It takes people like me on the internet who are not afraid of the Clintons to ask tough questions, to tell you the truth, South Carolina. So when she's up there hiding behind Trayvon Martin's mother, who we love, when she's hiding behind Sandra Bland, mother, which we love and feel for, Eric Garner's widow, which we love and feel for, Jordan Davis' mother, which we love and feel for, it does not change the fact that all she's doing is using people. Using them to get ahead. Because she don't care about you. She don't care about me. She don't care about them. She don't care about no one. White, black, Latino, Asian, nobody. In my heart of hearts, I believe the only person Hillary Clinton really cares about is Hillary Clinton. You got a choice to make Saturday. You can choose Bernie Sanders, a man who believes he wants to be president because he wants to change the world. He wants to make the world a better place. He wants to make America a better place. He wants to help working class people. He's been working to do that for 40 years. He got locked up in the civil rights era for staging sit-ins, fighting against segregation, keeping black folks down. He wanted to fight against that. So you can vote for a man who wants to make the world better, or you can vote for a woman who just wants to be president to become president. That's why she wants to be president. She didn't have a big goal like she wants to make your life better. She wants to make her life better. What does she know about us? Any of us. Unless you're rich. And I'm talking to everybody when I say that. Tim Black. I approve this message. It's up to you, South Carolina. I hope you do the right thing. And the right thing is to vote for Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn.
That's Tim Black testifying again. I love Tim. Thank you for those words, Tim. Thank you for that. Again, I can't speak to it. I'm a privileged white man in this country. But in my personal opinion, if I were black or any other color besides white, and I was listening to Hillary Clinton and looking up her record, actually I wouldn't even need to listen to, I don't even need to look up Hillary Clinton's record. I just don't understand. What is the deal with anybody voting for Hillary Clinton at this point? I don't get it. Forget the Republican side of the world, which, correction, Ted Cruz dropped his hold on the Flint water deal, but apparently there are other senators that could be holding up the legislation. So, gee, whatever. Thanks, Ted. I don't know that it's going to increase your chances of winning. Chris Christie, gas bag of New Jersey, has supported Trump, which seems fitting. So, yay for them. They can work together there on destroying more things. We're happy about that. There are some good things that have happened in the news. We're going to cover a couple good topics. The whole hashtag on the cover of this was release the transcripts, right? Because Hillary doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. I mean, she's the only one holding herself to a standard. The people get to decide. That's an article from Salon we're going to look at, but actually, let's just look at it. I want to read the bottom piece of this article. This is from Salon. We're just gonna read what this guy has to say. I really like it here. This is Bill Curry, Salon Mag. And what he says here is the soft corruption of establishment politics is what we mean when we say the system's rigged. It is Sanders' great advantage. On the overarching issue of the election, he has alone among all the candidates wants what we want. An end to politics as we know it. The best place for him to start is with Obama's 2008 reform agenda and end the backroom revolving doors and no big contracts. This is what Clinton does, folks. Okay. Clinton knows she can't convince a trade unionist or a single mother that her neoliberal world order is better for them than Bernie's revolution, so she avoids side-by-side policy comparisons and paints him as the other. Okay? You guys, there is nothing that... There's a better way to do it. There's a better way to do it. Let me frame this up. This is awesome. This is, I wanted to run this. This is from SNL. Here's the difference, Hillary. You don't get it. Here's the difference. Let's see if I can make this play right. This is from Saturday Night Live.
During the Democratic debate, Hillary Clinton attacked Bernie Sanders, saying that he needs to be more honest with voters about the difficulty of accomplishing many of his proposals, while Clinton's critics say she has to be honest with voters about all that stuff. And then there's there's more. Okay. Gotta be honest about that stuff.
There. That really sums it up better than I could. How many things Clinton needs to actually be honest about, actually disclose. It's not just about releasing the transcripts, it's about being honest with yourself. You won't even answer the Black Lives Matter protesters' question. You won't even admit that you said these things. When you were talking with him, when you were making sure your Secret Service guy could escort her out the door as fast as possible from your 500-plate dinner to, what? Encourage minority voters to vote for you? I don't even know what was there. What was that in South Carolina? What were you doing there, wherever the hell you were? Be honest with us about one thing. Admit that you said what you said. Don't try to spin it another way. It's obvious what you said. You can't spin the net, Hillary establishment. You cannot spin the net. This is where you are going to fail. This is why we win. We own the net. We know how to use it. We control it. We control it to a certain degree, folks. Keep in mind, that's why I'm calling out for Anonymous, for Occupy. Let's figure out a better way. Okay? When executives at Twitter pull down, scrub an entire hashtag, an entire movement of people in social, we need a way to fight back. We need a way to do something to them. Right? There needs to be repercussions when we are censored. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for global repercussions, or repercussions on that CEO specifically. How do we get him back and uncensor our content? Anyway, it's not about just moving. It's not just about the transcripts. It's about all information, the repression of all information, the burning of books. When a hashtag is scrubbed from the net, it's burning a library of books. It's burning the truth. It's no different than what Nazi Germany did in the 30s. It is no different than what you read about in books like Fahrenheit 451. People, we live in that reality. We have a government that is oppressive and is not interested in doing the will of the people anymore. We have a battle on our hands. Here's a little positive note. Occasionally the YouTube copyright system works in the favor of the people. And Hillary Clinton, I love it how all of these establishment candidates just borrow tunes without asking. I'm going to borrow this tune because that musician's not going to give a shit. Most musicians are liberal, and most musicians see through bullshit. Okay, so Hillary trying to use this tune, Bikini, I don't even know who this, I didn't even know this was going to, Bikini Kills Riot Girl Classic Rebel Girl. To make Hillary Clinton look like she's some kind of a radical feminist revolutionary. I've not seen it, but here's the great part, is that it got a takedown. Happens to us, and all they had to do was go into their content ID system, into the YouTube content ID system. Yes, Hillary's using our tune. We don't want her to be using that anymore. Dink. So fuck you, Hillary. I love the fact that that happened. I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. It's nice. It's nice when the people win occasionally. It's nice. My own self, I agree. That it is disheartening to see so many baby boomers that used to be activists, judgmental of the status quo, literally going against their parents head to head. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's really sad how many of the people that were radicals in the 60s or people that understood what was going on in that movement now are stuck with the establishment. They've just become indoctrinated. This is a cycle. We just need to break the cycle with transparency. Transparency breaks this cycle. And we are moving towards a transparent world. The end of the corporate age. The corporate age was all about privacy, about hiding information so that one corporation could be better than another. But we're moving to an age of the people, where we're going to share information openly, like Elon Musk has done with all the Tesla patents. Here, he said, here's all of the technology, all of the work we've done. Make it better. Take it and make it better for society. That is a steward of industry. That is a steward of this planet. I want to work with Elon Musks of the world. I want those kind of people running our government and in politics. I want those kind of people rebuilding our planet. That is the new way. That is the progressive way. That is the people's way. It is the end of the corporate age, folks. The end of the corporate age. So we get to this article. Just to remind everybody, so the reason I entitled the show today, release the transcripts, is because there was a press release from Michael Briggs, the Sanders camp, saying that this was just pushed out. It's an article in the New York Times saying, Mrs. Clinton, show voters those transcripts. Everybody does it is an excuse expected from a mischievous child, not a presidential candidate. Again, I ask everybody voting for Hillary Clinton, why do you see her as a presidential candidate? She is unelectable at this point. She is under investigation by the FBI. The State Department has to release more emails, and every time they release emails, we find out something else. She sold F-15s as Christmas presents and rejoiced over their sale to Saudi Arabia. I don't know what more information we need to provide here, but Hillary released those transcripts, and, we can look at the different things she said. So many people have asked her to release them. Please release the transcript. On February 18th, the man in the audience said, please release those transcripts just so we know exactly where you stand. Mrs. Clinton had told him, I'm happy to release anything I have when everybody else does the same. Now she's including Republicans in that. Well, you're not running against Republicans right now. You're running against Bernie Sanders. And I think we should make a big point of that, folks. We need to make a big point of that. Release the transcripts because, and I don't know, I think that should be the hashtag of today until it gets scrubbed by the executive of Twitter. Let's see how fast we can blow it up and then see how fast it gets scrubbed by the executives of Twitter for their party on Sunday. And let's see what we can do about that party on Sunday. I bet we could do something very disruptive on Sunday about that party. Let's find out where it is. Let's see if we can crash it. Let's see if we can bring live camera in there. I would love to do that. I would love to facilitate that if anybody's willing to go there. It's time to fight this war with some better weapons. So I'm asking for help on what we do there. Because I'm tired of being attacked. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of having our voice shut down by executives, by suits and ties who want to keep the establishment regime in power. Rah, rah, rah. Told you I was in a bad mood today, folks. Told you I was going to be ranty. Everybody else ran away. Oh no, Scott's there. He's being quiet in the background. Yes, just reading that. What else do I got to cover today? We looked at that. That was funny. Oh, man. Just a reminder. Just a reminder. I don't even need to change the lower third. I mentioned this the other day, but I thought this was just a reminder. This is like audacious. Chamber of Commerce lobbyist Tom Donahoe, or Hugh, Clinton will support TPP after election. He basically, he's in an interview with from Davos with Bloomberg TV on January 20th, this dude assured viewers that if Hillary Clinton wins the presidential election, she will support the TPP even though she opposes it now. Can somebody just... Everybody, that article link is in the description. Grab that article link and share it in email with anybody you know right now that is still voting for Hillary Clinton, with any baby boomer you know that doesn't look to the internet, but they've figured out email. We need to blast them with this information. The same person who says one thing is going to do something different. And here's a dude, a lobbyist, confident, on public television, confidently saying, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Hillary's going to back the TPP because we know her record. We know she says one thing, but does what we need her to do because we've paid her millions and millions of dollars to do what we need her to do.
Wait. Did she really say she opposes the TPP? I haven't heard it yet.
I don't think she said she opposes it.
She just said that as far from what she knows, it doesn't meet her standards.
Well,
So,
okay, it doesn't meet her standards, so
further research, and it actually does meet my standards. She hasn't come out and said that there's anything wrong with it.
Good point. So, yeah, I'm sorry. So the quote is interesting in the way it's read, though, because this is the quote from the guy, right? Well, actually, there. The chamber president said he expected Hillary Clinton would ultimately support the TPP if she becomes the Democratic nominee for president and is elected. He argued that she has publicly opposed the deal, chiefly because her main challenger, Senator Bernie Sanders, has also done so. So let's get to the real point. It doesn't matter whether she truly opposes it or not. This guy says she's really only doing that or saying that because Bernie Sanders is saying it.
It's just like the Keystone Pipeline. I was there when she finally took a position on the Keystone Pipeline. It was in this elementary school in Des Moines. And all she said was, I oppose it because it's a distraction. She didn't say it was because it was dirty fuel and bad for the environment. She just said it's a distraction.
Right. Yeah. This is. Here, I'll read the last part of this. If she were to get nominated, if she were to be elected, I have a hunch that what runs in the family is you get a little practical if you ever get the job, he said. I'm not even sure what he's insinuating there other than, I don't know. I don't even know what he's saying there, really. That's what he's trying to say there. But I'm not worried about it in that side. He's not worried about it, right? You're right, Scott. She never said, I don't think she ever really did say she opposed it. She just said, what? That didn't meet her standard, whatever the hell is.
And you kept having these three things, like it has to protect jobs and the environment and these three things. And then she said, from what she knew, it didn't meet those standards. So that, and the media, she's opposed to it, but she never really said that she opposes it.
Interesting. Of course not. I'm playing around here with things. So that's Hillary bashing, folks. That's the Hillary bashing today. I don't think I had anything else I want to cover there. Bernie Sanders has a new ad, People Before Polluters. Let's run that real quick. And then, actually, before we run the Bernie Sanders new ad, I want to bring up this. I want to talk about Obama doing things and getting things done. All right. This is the speed of establishment. Right? Now, this would look good. Obama bans U.S. imports of slave-produced goods. Yay! Bill was signed, but it's a loophole that's been around for 85 years. 85 years we've been buying slave goods. And there's all sorts of stuff coming out about this now. Let's not talk about it. How about Nestle Corporation and its line of Sheba cat food? I think it's Nestle. Sheba cat food, even Nestle's a piece of shit. We can talk about them anyway. Made by slave children in Taiwan. But the U.S., they put this information. Obama bans U.S. imports. I think this is hilarious because I don't know how that's even going to stop things. We push a ban on it. Nothing's going to change. This is your establishment claiming they accomplish things. It's this kind of shit. We need an overhaul. This is Obama putting a piece of bubble gum on a rubber tire of our vehicle. Our vehicle needs a new engine, a new body. We got a lot of work to do on the government vehicle that we have that is not really functioning all that well right now. Man, you guys are doing all sorts of awesome comments, and I'm like totally missing them. I've been really you forget the donations after the F-15 sales. Right. You're absolutely right. So to make sure we tie that all in together, folks, it wasn't just that the F-15 sales happened and that made a lot of money for the Defense Department sales force, which they actually have one. They actually have a division of the United States government that operates separately on its own. I don't know where they get their funding, probably our tax dollars, but their job is to sell our weapons around the world. And they get cheers, kudos, always be closing, right? Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, these are the guys around selling our weapons around the world. They just happily sold some M1 Abrams tanks to Iraq for $2.4 billion. I'm not sure where we get any money out of that or what we get back out of that. But, yeah, the F-15. So what happened? This is how the triangle works, folks. Hillary Clinton, make sure we get some sales as State Department person for Boeing. Right? Boeing makes these F-15s. And what happens is right after this deal goes down, Boeing drops a big chunk of change into the Clinton Foundation. And the Clinton Foundation has been busted hiding money away. It's not hard to see the truth. It's just hard to wake America up. We have to wake the rest of America up. We have thieves, liars running for office. We have one man offering us a chance to get out of this alive. One man offering us a chance to survive. And as Tim Canova said yesterday, Florida, 20 years, going to lose a lot of beach property. You're going to have a fucked up coastline in 20 years. 10 years. Who knows what the storms are doing? I know there was a massive storm that outed the power in Janine's area. She was saying the other day, 60 degrees, tornadoes, crazy shit going on down there. You all know the weather's not normal. You all know things aren't right. We have one chance. One chance. I was going to end with our end song, but I want to end with something different. This is from 2011. This is Atari Teenage Riot, Black Flags. This is the WikiLeaks Edit 3 featuring Boots Riley / Anonymous. And this is from 2011. This has a lot of hits. This came out during the Occupy movement. And I bring it up because that kind of effort, that kind of guerrilla warfare is what we need to get back into now so that we still have a medium, an internet, to blast our information to, because they are starting to work on silencing us better. They are starting to find ways of stopping our movements, like Which Hillary hashtags. And we're going to need to figure out a way to subvert that. I don't know what it is, but WikiLeaks, no matter what you think of Julian Assange and whatever's going on with him and that stuff, WikiLeaks is an essential entity when fighting a globally oppressive establishment regime. And without WikiLeaks, without people like Edward Snowden, WikiLeaks, and other entities that help bring the truth, help uncover the truth, without entities like this, we would all be in the dark still. And the oppression would just continue to get worse and worse. And we would not be able to organize. We would not know what's really going on. So I urge you to help support WikiLeaks in what it does.
What
and other entities that are about promoting the truth.
Are they using the storylines that I did on GTS Wrestling back in October, November? Dreamers and Genius confirmed.
Not sure what's going on.
The future.
The newsroom tomorrow at 9 a.m.
They just enjoyed the storyline so much. Like, yeah, we gotta do that. I like that
Thank
fat
you all
guy
for
on the
being
internet.
here.
Yeah, let's do that. Get Shane on the phone. Hey, Shane, get over here.
Everybody.
We gotta get your ass back
You know
on
what we have
Raw.
to do.
Because Grim Toy Show said so. Yeah, I had Shane-O Big
You know
Mac
we're in a war.
on GTS Wrestling feuding
And,
with his fucking father, Vince McMuffin, because GTS Wrestling was turning into pure shit.
We're not fighting for an election. We're not fighting for the
Mr.
next 4
McMuffin's
years.
out there to present
We're
the
fighting for the
award
difference between
for
the planet
outstanding
we live on
achievement in the field of
slave labor and the oppressive regime on a really hot
or whatever award they were presenting.
Those are our choices.
And he gives it to
Feel the burn, everybody.
Step on Me McMuffin.
I am here to show solidarity
War
with the
This was just Vince
Occupy
and his
London
daughter
movement.
blowing smoke up each other's
In our
asses.
experience
And nobody
over the last
gave
5 years,
fucks.
the most
Until
frequent
all of a
attack on
sudden,
our organisation Has not been
Every arena erupted like my butthole after Taco Bell. People were so excited to see Shane McMahon back, including me. Shane McMahon comes out and starts roasting McMahon about how Raw sucks, injuries, low ratings, you name it. Pushing Roman Reigns, you name it. Shane was salty as a pretzel, and he wants control of Raw. Alright, Shane, you want control of Raw? You fuck. McMahon said fuck. McMahon dropped the F-bomb. They glitched, but you can find plenty of space out there unedited. McMahon dropped the fuck. I said fuck. Remember when he's fired? What was that guy's name? Brad Maydock saying Rick? Oh, come on, this man's not gonna fire himself from the company. I mean, how stupid would that be? I'm fired. But then there was a missed opportunity here, because what McMuffin told Shane is that he can get control of Raw if he can win a match at WrestleMania. Long to tell Shane McMahon, Shane, you gotta go one-on-one with the Undertaker. Gotta work. McMahon versus the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Except so, you can't pull any of your running high crap. It's gonna be a nice yeah, fuck you, boy. Tell Shane McMahon versus the Undertaker. Everybody's like, Grim, what was your reaction? I was like this. No fucking way. I say no fucking way. As in, I think it's gonna happen. And I'll tell you why. What the last time Shane McMahon wrestled? 15 years ago? 12 years ago? Who gives a shit? It's been a long ass time ago. How the hell could he possibly be expected to put on a WrestleMania quality matchup with The Undertaker, who's old as fuck? After not wrestling for so damn long! I sincerely doubt that Shane McMahon's been training and working out, getting his ass holy shape, ready for this match, considering what we like to do together. 2 or 3 weeks? Probably Shane McMahon is going to have somebody stand in for him. But unfortunately, right now, we can't see who that would be. Oh man, Raw really got me excited. Storyline progression, we had awesome action, and we had a big bloody beatdown at the end. Because Triple H has become, Triple H already is the badass that Roman Reigns should be. Triple H beat the piss out of Roman Reigns like a red-headed stepchild. Smiley, sour, foot, free fall, fox, he comes in, suit away in the closet. He comes out dressed up in all his leather coat and jeans. The badass back and he's gonna beat your ass. Hey, Triple H comes out kicking the crap out of Roman Reigns. The funniest part is he's slamming Roman Reigns' face on the commentator's table like jerking off. Vigorously pulling his fucking face into the solid steel.
bank accounts and offshore bank accounts are also denied of their anonymity.
Fan videos have surfaced today. Fans standing like right behind there with their little iPhones. That shows Byron Sexton slipping Roman Reigns the face blood to smear on his face. Which is fine. I'm not wrestling. And if Roman Reigns doesn't have to break his nose and cut his face apart to have a cool bloody scene for the end of Raw, I'm fine with that. Absolutely I am. It makes the scene look awesome. Holy shit! Holy shit! The PG era is over! No, it's not. They just went all out after the 11 p.m. hour to make this beatdown look the best it could be. So then Triple H picks up the limp noodle body of Roman Reigns and he forcibly jams his face into the solid steel steps with a pedigree, which made Roman dead. Do you agree? The pedigree made Roman dead. Do you agree? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Hey, Roman, fuck you. I don't hate Roman Reigns. Look at the coat I'm wearing. I just want him to be a better badass. And Triple H took him to school. Triple H showed him how to be a badass. This is how it's done, dude. I'm going to mop the fucking floor with you. And how did the crowd react to this bloody beatdown? Triple H face turn confirmed. Everybody was cheering for Triple H. The people were popping. They're like, beat him down, give him another. It was hysterical. Triple H gives him the old DX chop. He's like, suck it. Roman Reigns left in a puddle of his own blood, face period style. Okay, so we had a beginning and an end of awesomeness, right? But what about all the bullshit in between? Some of it was pretty badass. Well, we gotta talk about our indestructible dude in jeans, Dean Ambrose. The poor prick got put through a solid steel windshield right before the beginning of Raw when Brock Lesnar took his ass to Windshield City, bitch. He put him right through the windshield of a limousine. Dean is dead. Dean is dead, right? So then Brock Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman and they're cutting a promo about Beast Incarnate and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden you hear silence, and here comes Dean.
Trident presents the smile. Fabulous smile. And
Holy bitch tits on a bulldog! Monday Night Raw last night. What's wrong with you, Doc? Brock is gonna kill you! Brock is gonna kill you! Brock Lesnar is then challenged by Dean for a no-holds-barred street fight at WrestleMania. Are you too stupid? Do you want to die, Dean? Please don't die, Dean! Brock is gonna kill you! What does Brock do? Brock's like, really, motherfucker? Really? Brock comes down the aisle, he's like, hey, boy! He picks him up on his shoulder and F5s that fucker right into the floor. This God is my witness! Dean Ambrose has gotta be dead and dumb! Kick-ass segment nonetheless. You gotta give props to Dean for being a sadistic son of a bitch who ain't afraid of a beating. Unlike Roman Reigns, I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck Y2J had a live sex celebration with AJ Styles in the middle of the ring on Raw. You guys are right. PG error is gone, confirmed. AJ Styles comes out to the ring when Chris Jericho says he needs to talk. And then they start giving each other blowjobs, or they're putting each other over. Jericho's like, oh, I didn't think you were phenomenal, but you're not just great, you are phenomenal. And AJ's like, oh, thank you so much. They start kissing, and no, they shook hands. I'm exaggerating. It's kind of what I do. But then they're interrupted by the social ass casts who want to have a match? Stupid! What's with these dumb bastards? Picking fights with dudes they're gonna get their asses beat by. Dumb. Of course, Y2J and AJ Styles mopped the floor with the motherfuckers. Where was Kevin Owens? Was he at home washing his ass? Why the fuck would you not have Kevin Owens on Monday Night Raw, the night after a pay-per-view, to build towards WrestleMania? Too stupid! Ooh, goody goody gumdrop, super happy fat man action wrestling style. I get to see a rematch from Fuck Lame of the match that was the most fucking lame. The Wyatt family fuckers against Team Titans. You know, those big fucking gigantic bastards, Big Show, Kane, Rob Blunt. Oh, this time they decided to let the Wyatt family win. Well, thanks for throwing us a bone, you bitches. Thank God Bray Wyatt pins Kane. What the fuck was the point of the match, though? To make it right from the previous night? Pointless to have the same damn promo for the third fucking time from those damn Dudleys. They said the same shit over and over again to the Usos, who then get attacked by the ass tension, and then the Usos beat the ass tension. It was kind of pointless. It was just action to fill the fucking card out. Also action to fill out the card. The New Day bring out their box of bootios as they face Sin Cara, Kalisto, and Neville. And that match was full of action as could be expected. The New Day wins the matchup when Kofi damn near unmasked Sin Cara. Be careful with the mask, motherfucker. We don't want to know who's under there. Also, we seen Sasha Banks beat Naomi. And, you know, Becky Lynch was out there. Because, you know, Sasha Banks and her formed the fake-haired hose. But out comes Charlotte. Starts running her mouth about how they're bonding and how cute it is and who wants it more for the belt. And apparently there's going to be some type of triple threat at WrestleMania between Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha. That's going to be a badass Divas match. But I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck is Charlotte dressed up like one of those Bella Bimbos?
What the hell was she wearing? And what the fuck was the point? It was too stupid. Speaking of too stupid, what the hell's going on with R-Truth and Gold Nuts, the Golden Truth? They did another one of those segments in the back where Goldust was trying to give R-Truth a cake, and R-Truth says, "Oh, I'd never hit you in the face with that cake." Psych! And hit him in the face with the cake. That was funny, but obviously all of this buffoonery paled in comparison to all the cool crap that happened at the beginning, middle, and end, like we talked about earlier. I want to know what you guys thought of the show. Leave it in the comments below. Were you blown away by the return of Shane O'Mac? I was. I mean, who the fuck predicted that? Oh, wait, me. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Your support means everything to me. I love spending every Tuesday night with you guys, roasting raw. Join me right here. Thank you again. I can't wait to read your comments. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more Grim Out. I don't want to punch you guys. You guys are awesome. Now, I'll just punch the camera. It's the camera.